6 o'clock. What's this? Huh. What kind of key is that? Oh, what? 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 What's up, everyone? It's John again, and I just wanted to do a channel update because it's been a very long time since I posted a video to YouTube. I think it's been since May, and it's now September at the time of filming this. September 19 to be exact. So, yeah, let me tell you the story about why that car is now mine, well knowing that I still have this to do. Right, this is my 1991 BMW E3318, and you can see I got no engine. I have the transmission down there. Actually, no, I don't. The transmission's over there, next to my daughter's Jeep. Got valve cover over here, intake manifold. I got my old head there. What was that? Alternator, starter, camshafts. So all of this is all going to come back together. So why do I have that? Well, it's a good story to tell, actually. Let's take that inside, shall we? Okay, guys, so let me kind of do an explanation here. I sold my Mazda 6. I don't know if you remember, I had a Mazda 6. I actually sold it around my birthday, around July, first week of July in 2018. And you know, I wasn't really feeling that car anymore. And you know, it's just like, you know, typical John getting rid of his cars after, you know, a short amount of time. But in my defense, and it's quite humiliating, the fourth day after I bought that car from Derek when he was working at Galpin, I rear-ended somebody. I rear-ended a CRV on my way home from work. On the fourth day, after the fourth day I bought the car. It's quite embarrassing. You know, I had to get the whole front end replaced. It ended up costing like $4,000 or $5,000. And you know, I just never felt the same about that car. You know, I drove it for another year, and don't get me wrong, it's a very good car. You know, it was reliable, good on gas. It was roomy. It fit 2 car seats in the back for both Zoe and Jalen. You know, it was, you know, I had nothing against it other than the fact that I hate that the car I had an accident. So I got rid of it. I sold it in July, and then, you know, I pretty much recovered. I didn't really recover anything, but I was paying $300 a month for that car, plus, you know, $160 and change for insurance. So pretty much that was going to be saved from monthly expenses without having that car anymore. And I started driving the Toyota Tundra for the time being. So this was July, and now it's September. So I technically only saved July's payment, August payment, and September's payment. So that's 3 months. So we're talking about like $1,500. And you know, my original plan was to hold out until the new year, you know, to just see if you know, how it would be like to be without a car payment. Because being without a car payment, that really helps on budgeting, you know, extra money, you know, to put away for savings or whatever. But everybody knew that it's just a matter of time before John gets another car. And still, being that I had the BMW to work on, and you know, I have this reputation that I started those projects and I just never follow through, just like my E36 3 Series, where I was trying to do a 5-speed transmission swap, and then I got rid of that car. You know, I ended up donating the car to Goodwill. I just didn't have any more time to invest in it. And that was also the time, you know, Jalen was born. I was a parent for the first time. So yeah, I mean, no excuses, right? You know, I should really follow through with that. And sure enough, history repeats itself. I bought another BMW. It's another project car, and this time it's probably a little bit more involved because now it's a full-on engine rebuild. But the good thing about that is, one, I'm a little older. I make more money now. You know, blessed that I have a good career, and I have a lot more invested in it. So I actually got the head rebuilt. The block was sent to the machine shop to get it rebuilt also. New pistons, new rings, new rods, pretty much the whole deal, to a 0-mile engine. And then I dropped it off probably in August or something like that. I think, yeah, first week of August. And then 6 weeks later, I got a call that the engine's done and it's ready to get picked up. But I got that call 3 days ago, and I've had this STI for about a week now. So I'm kind of like, I got hit with the 1-2. I bought this expensive car, and now I gotta pick up an engine and start working on that BMW and get that up and running, and that's gonna cost some money too. But nonetheless, these are probably my 2 favorite cars ever. I actually probably love my BMW E30 more than I love this STI. But here's the history. This is my 3rd Subaru. I had a 2005 Subaru WRX I bought off Derek's friend. It was built, I think, up to stage 2. STI injectors, full turbo back, tune and everything. Got rid of that, and then my 2nd Subaru was the 2016 Subaru WRX, which is when they got the new FA motor, or the new FA engine. And I drove that for 2 years. That was kind of like, I was in a lease, and I wasn't, I wanted to get out of the lease, so I sold that lease off to CarMax. And then now, I told myself, okay, if I'm gonna buy another Subaru, it's gotta be an STI, right? Because I've always had the WRX, never the STI. I've always had the EX, never the Type R, or never the SI. So I kind of felt like this was the one to get, right? And then, it could be childish, because, I have a big ass spoiler in the back right there. It's a bright blue car. It's very loud. It's very not me, because most of my cars are usually white, black, gray. Plus, all of my homies were getting new cars, and I felt left out. That could be the dumbest reason to buy a car, but a lot of people would probably agree in saying that at least you bought a car that you really, really like. And people haven't been able to say that about my car purchases for a while now, because family comes first, so you always want to make sure that you take care of their needs first. And this one, in all things considered, was probably the most irresponsible financial decision I've ever made. And I'm 37. I'm supposed to be grown, making these smart decisions, but I just went for it. So this is a base STI. It's not a limited. This is stickered price. The sticker was around like a high 39, so it's almost 40,000. And this is a 2019. So I was probably waiting for a year-end clearance sale anyways, but I wasn't looking at STIs. I was probably looking at like full-size sedans like a Nissan Maxima or a Toyota Camry, because we got 2 kids now. But I never threw the STI in the mix, because I thought I was already past that stage, with tuner cars and stuff like that. So I don't know how it came to be, but last week, there was talks of the 2020 STI coming out, and it was going to have a new FA engine with with more power to be a higher trim above the WRX, of course. But that was all rumors, and it's always been rumored that the new STI would get the new FA motor next year. And then I figured, okay, I'll wait till the next STI comes out, and then I'll take a look at it. That day never came, and it still is not here, and it's still rumored. Maybe it's going to be for 2021, but you know what? That'll be a first-year production STI, and those are always going to have the kinks that aren't worked out yet. Probably takes a couple years, and then there's like a mid-refresh for it to kind of really get polished and fine-tuned, just like how this EJ motor has been in production since 2004. So this has been long perfected, and it's a good engine. It can't compete with all the modern engines right now. because you got like cars making 300 horsepower easily, in V6s, entry-level V6s. But there's something about this STI that I really love. So I called my guy in Glendale. He was the guy that I was talking to while I was trying to shop for my WRX a couple years ago. And I told him, hey, I'm in the market for an STI, but I want something a year in clearance, at a discount, because I know the 2020 is around the corner. Let me know what you could do for me. Sorry, I got a call. Anyways, as I was saying, I called my guy up in Glendale, and he was going to start looking at inventory for me for 2019s. And I already knew at this point, in September, or like early September, right, that there won't be a lot of STIs around, because they probably cleared them out already, because the 2020s are probably already here. September, October is usually when they start shipping out these units to the dealerships. So he didn't call me for a couple of days, so I figured, okay, this is a dead lead. That was probably just a spur of the moment. I'm probably not gonna get an STI, no big deal. I wasn't hurt or anything. And sure enough, like 3 days later, he called me up and was like, hey, this is what I have, and here's the price that I can give you. I was like, oh shit, this is actually a pretty good, I thought it was a good price. It came out to like 36,000, so it was like about $4,000 under sticker. And then he was telling me the comparisons between the STI and the STI Limited, because I kind of at first was looking for an STI with no wing, kind of like the WRX deck lid wing, because it's a little bit more subtle look. But he's like, oh, you have to buy a limited version, and there's two limiteds. There's a limited with wing and a limited with no wing. I was like, damn, okay. And how much was the price difference? So I'm like, okay. He said it was like about $4,000, right? And so the limited comes with the push button start, the Recaro seats, because I don't have Recaros. These are just STI with like Alcantara and this probably fake leather. And it had navigation, so a lot of, and a moonroof too. So those were kind of like probably worth the package, but I didn't want to spend another $4,000, because this is already the most expensive car I've ever bought in my life. And this is more than enough. I like the one that I bought, the one that I ended up with, because one, it's a World Rally Blue, which is like the STI color, and the only limited that they had was a silver one, and I wasn't really feeling silver, especially on a WRX or a Subaru for that matter, because I wanted it to be either a black or a blue or a white, just not silver. So we started talking numbers, and then we were talking about financing, so he hooked me up with a good rate. I got the extended warranty, because this is an older engine, as far as generation wise. So I felt I paid a fair price. I put nothing down, and I financed everything. I got a good rate. So this is by far the most expensive car payment I've ever had, and the most expensive car I've ever had. But it's an STI, and it's the STI that I wanted. So say what you say, but this is something that I hope I can keep for its entirety of its loan. So this is talking 6 years. I hope I can keep this car forever, for that matter, or at least for at least 2 years, because that's probably the 2-year mark where everyone's gonna expect me to get rid of it and move on to something else. But for 36,000, I was considering other cars at that price point. So what would be a contender? I was looking at Dodge Challengers with the 5.7 Hemi, the Dodge Chargers, because those are the 4-door versions, so I could put 2 car seats in the back, a V6 Camry, a mid-trim SV Maxima, and a Honda Odyssey. Those are around like the $35,000 range. But then if I pit them next to each other and say, okay, for 36,000, which car would you drive out of that list? Sure enough, I chose this one, and I thought it was a good decision. I mean, not a good decision, a good choice for the car, for the money. So I know I've rambled so much about this, but this is just a channel update. I still am going to work on the BMW. I'm going to pick up the engine tomorrow, and then I'm going to borrow my neighbor's engine stand, and then I'm going to start wrenching on it. So I'm going to, you know, pretty much put the block on, put all the gaskets, connect the tranny. You know, I'm pretty much going to do as much wrench time as I can by myself, you know, maybe with a buddy, and then hopefully the goal is to get the engine installed in that engine bay and running by 12/31/2019. That is the goal. I'm not necessarily going to be in daily driving condition because, you know, there's some interior bits that I need to take care of, but I just want to make sure that I have a healthy engine and it's installed correctly in the BMW, and that is pretty much going to be my pride and joy. My pretty much that's my number one car, because I love the E30. STI comes in very close second. But anyways, thanks for surviving this long ass video, but I hope to put out more content. I'm pretty much filming this on an iPhone right now because I got rid of all my vlogging gear, but I will be picking up the iPhone 11 that was just released or revealed last week, and I should be picking that up in a couple weeks through T-Mobile. But for now, I'll be vlogging through this, and I should stop rambling. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, even if it's crap, even if it's hurtful. But you know, feedback is always good, and I hope to put out more videos for you in the future. And thanks for watching, guys. Peace.